So Dijonai wins Most Improved Player in an award voting that I don't necessarily agree with. I don't agree with it. For me, the voting is crazy. I don't think either of the top two should really be in the consideration for the award. Mainly because I think Dijonai, have argued Dijonai should have been an all-star. I think she's really good. I think you can maybe argue. I think not even you can argue. I fully believe she's the best player on the Connecticut Sun. Like, screw all the other stuff, just purely talking basketball. I think she's the most impactful player. I think not the post defense doesn't matter. I think perimeter defense is one of the most undervalued things in the WNBA. And while being a 13 point per game scorer on decent efficiency, while being the best perimeter defender in the league, like, I think, well, is she better than Sykes or Jordan Canada? Yeah, I'll say she's the best perimeter defender in the league. I think that's like supremely underrated. I think she's the best player on her team. And yeah, so she won it, but like, her jumps were just from more minutes and more shots. That's what, like, all the stats were like, well, she was at the same efficiency as last year. It was just she averaged 4 more points per game. I think most improved is one of those ones where it's like, it should be most improved. So for me, Kennedy Carter, going from being out of the league last year and not being on a team past halfway through, she got kicked off her last 2 teams and suddenly should have been an all-star. Like, those 2 players, in my opinion, were at the time were also, look, I don't think Kelsey Mitchell should have been an all-star at the time. In hindsight, obviously should have been an all-star. And there were a few players that I'm like, maybe shouldn't have been all-stars. In a year without the USA players being guaranteed spots, there was a lot of other players who would have been all-stars. I personally would have taken Dijonai over, I know they're not the same position, I would have taken Dijonai over Bree Jones. They didn't need to bring as many centers as they did. And I also probably would have, for the all-star team, taken Ezzy Magbagor over Angel Reese. But, like, obviously I know why Angel Reese was chosen. And she also balled out in the all-star game, in fairness. And also Hamby was one of those good stats, bad team players. But in the final voting for MIP, the Erica Hamby was second. She was second with 18 votes. Like, how was Bridget Carleton? How did she not win MVP? Or not MVP, MIP. How? She was robbed. She was absolutely robbed. Like, I just want to see her basketball reference page. She was robbed. So Bridget Carleton, again, part of that unbelievably good 2019 draft. Part of that ridiculously good 2019 draft. So she went to Iowa State. And this year she's averaging, it doesn't look great, 9.6 points, 4 boards, 2.2 assists. But it's like, this is on the links where they just play team basketball. The stats don't mean quite as much. But if you want to look at her, like, stats for her career, she only played 8 games in 2019. Averaged 5 minutes per game and 0.4 points. Her last season, she averaged 3.2 points per game. She averaged 3.2 points per game last year. And she's been with Minnesota since halfway through 2019. Her best season was averaging 6 a game. She played 15 minutes per game last year. She played 15 and is now, she should have won Commissioner's Cup Finals MVP. She's arguably, between her and Leonie Fibic, for the best 3-and-D wings in the league. She's hitting game winners. You can make an argument. I think it's a hard argument to make, because once you go past Fee Collier, who's the best player in the links, it's very tough to argue who's the second best player between Carlton, Alana Smith, Kayla McBride, and Courtney Williams, who all, on any given day, any of those could be the second best player in the links. Heck, on any given day, any of those could be the best player in the links. That's how good the freaking links are. That's how good Bridget Carleton's been. And Dijonai Carrington, I will say, she's been really good. I'm glad it didn't go to Hamby, because, like, if you don't know about the Erica Hamby, like, I know she got her 2 MVP votes, but, like, she was an all-star she's a 3-time all-star. Like, she was an all-star in 2021 and 2022 and 2024. You can't be all-star down season because you've just given birth and then most improved the next year. That doesn't happen. You just can't do that. She had a one down year. Like, if she hadn't given birth, she might have been 4 times back to back to back to back. All-Star. And just she had a down year because she gave birth. You can't win most improved off that. Kennedy Carter getting 3 votes is a disgrace. Alana Smith, Sabrina Ionescu getting 1, fine. Because Sabrina Ionescu went from being like all-star to borderline MVP candidate. Fair enough. But I will say, no question about it, Kennedy Carter and Bridget Carleton were robbed. One of those two. Kennedy Carter is the most obvious winner of this award. Look, she's the most obvious winner. I don't hate that it's Dijonai. I'm more happy that it's Dijonai than it being Hamby. But also, we have to take into account no votes for Lexie Hull. No votes for Lexie Hull. That is a shock as well. Sabrina Ionescu getting a vote, but Lexie Hull not getting a vote. That is really, really surprising. But I don't really hate these awards, to be honest. I think, or this voting. If I was to give my list, I would go first, Carleton, second, first, probably one of Carleton or Carter, because it's hard to tell with Carter if it was just, but to be fair, like, attitude is a part of the game, and her improvement in that regard has been crazy. So, yeah, let's go Carter, Carleton, 1A, 1B. I would have probably gone third, Lexie Hull. I would probably have put Carrington fourth. Horston maybe on the list somewhere. I'm trying to think of who I watched a lot this year that really did make a jump. And it wasn't just good stats, bad team player. I don't know. Either way, though, congrats to Dijonai. I'm not like Kennedy. Hello. Plenty of players deserve more this year. And I will say this, of all of these players, in my opinion, outside of Kennedy Carter had the best season of all these players. Other than Sabrina Ionescu, probably shouldn't have gotten. That's the Ja Morant Most Improved Player award right there. I would say outside of Kennedy, it was between Dijonai probably the second best year. I think I've called Hamby the myth this entire year. I think she just was given the reins to a bad team. Like, it happens. We've seen it. Everyone thought Jordan Poole was going to do it, but it turned out it was Kyle Kuzma. Like, we've seen what happens when borderline all-star level players get handed the reins to bad teams. Like, they will a lot of time perform much better statistically. But anyway, yeah, congratulations to Dijonai on the award. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.